Hello, welcome to Creatority, where we delve into the enchanting world of cinema. Once upon a time, there lived a young but deceptive woman named Clara, who is also a single mother. As she makes a live video to her fans, admonishing them on why single motherhood is the best, she claims to have a job and a supportive family to cater for her child. She introduces her son Damian in the live video, demanding a peck from him. After she ends the video, she asks Damian to go change his shirt so she can take him to work. Clara brings Damian to her colleague Mimi, who is very excited to see them. Mimi hugs Damian, and Clara pleads for her help in taking care of him while she attends the board meeting. Mimi, overly excited, accepts, considering Clara a role model as an independent mother. Clara thanks her as she leaves for her meeting. Hours later, Clara returns to take back Damian, finding them playing games. Commends Damian, stating he is respectful, well-mannered, and doesn't disturb, causing Clara to smile in amazement. Later that day, Mimi arrives home with excitement, narrating her experience with Clara and her son Damian at the office to her friend and flatmate Harriet. She admires Clara's life and expresses a desire for it, leaving Harriet shocked. Harriet advises her to be content with what she has. Moreover, she highlights that being a single mother isn't as easy as portrayed on the internet. Harriet suggests sticking to the relationship with her boyfriend Fred, and when the time is right, they can get married and have beautiful children together. Mimi, helpless, leaves for the kitchen. The next day, Clara gets to the office and Mimi greets her, asking how she managed to submit her report last night without being disturbed by her son. Clara lies, claiming she had him sleep beside her while she worked, calling him a very understanding kid. Mimi is amazed, and her admiration for them keeps increasing. Later that day, Clara's car breaks down, and she is stranded on how to get home, claiming Damian's father has refused to get her another car. Trying his number, Mimi comes out and gets her attention. Clara is surprised she is leaving early and asks where she's going. Mimi replies she's going on a date. Clara chuckles and tells her to enjoy it while it lasts, stating that men can be unpredictable and might make you a baby mama or a single mother. Mimi asks if that's what happened to Damian, and Clara becomes speechless. Mimi apologizes, and Clara pleads for a ride to pick up her son from daycare, which Mimi accepts. That night, Mimi, desperate to have a child due to her role model, asks her boyfriend Fred about having a child. Fred expresses love for children, but mentions having them after marriage for a complete family. Mimi, unsatisfied, asks when he might likely get married, but Fred's response is pleasant to her. He asks if there's a rush, and she denies it, pretending to be happy. Clara is on call in her room when Damian enters and demands water to drink. Clara tells him that his auntie Monica, who is also her younger sister, will be coming the next day. Damian jumps for joy, hugging his mother as they leave the room. The next day, Clara welcomed her sister in and pleaded that she was already late for work when Monica mentioned her car and that she wanted to sell it. Clara asked how she would get another one if she still has that one, leaving Monica speechless. Clara was about to rush out when Damian came downstairs, saw his auntie Monica, ran to her and gave her a big hug. They played as Clara left. Mimi, obsessed with Clara and Damian's life, shared with Harriet her intentions in the living room, claiming Fred wasn't ready to have a child now, but she is. Despite Harriet's advice not to accept everything she sees online, Mimi had already made up her mind as she continued pressing her phone, leaving Harriet bewildered. Monica was in the living room trying to call Clara concerning her son's health when Clara entered, complaining about Damian's father. Monica tried to tell her about her son's health, and Clara quickly checked on him. Monica suggested they take him to the hospital, but Clara objected, saying her neighbor is a doctor who has been treating him. Clara left to get her, leaving Monica surprised. Mimi, in the living room, told Harriet how desperately she needs a child, comparing Damian and his mother Clara. Since she's financially capable and matured, she's ready for it. Harriet, helpless, asked how she was going to get pregnant when Fred doesn't want that now. Mimi assured her that she's got that figured out. That night, Mimi, sat on the bed in a seductive mood, got Fred wanting her. He joined her on the bed, excused himself to go get a condom, but Mimi already had that figured out as she gave it to him, and they made love. After they had finished, Fred, worried, told her about the condom breakage. Mimi lied to him, saying she would take a contraceptive pill, making Fred relieved. She turned her face and smiled in fulfillment. Clara, entering her room as she was on call with Damian's father, called Chief, demanding money to take care of their son. Chef, who had already sent some money to her, believed it would last for a month and asked what she used the money for. Clara, knowing her agenda was to extort money from him using their son as a medium, demanded he give her money. He hung up the phone on her, making her furious and frustrated. Monica, on her way to pick up Damian, encountered a car approaching her. It was Vanessa, Damian's father's sister, so she entered the car as they conversed. Vanessa confessed to Monica about them not reaching out except when there's a bill to pay, even sending $70K to Clara for Damian's hospital bill. Vanessa pleaded that Monica allows him to see Damian so they can get acquainted and know his other siblings. Monica, unable to help, told her she's not in the position to do that. She suggested Vanessa come see him on his birthday, showing the list Clara had sent concerning Damian's birthday. Monica was surprised as they bid goodbye and left. Monica got home and confronted Clara for extorting much money from Damian's father concerning Damian's illness when they didn't spend up to 5,000 naira for his medication. Monica demanded to know what she did with the money, claiming she had used it to fund her lavish lifestyle, causing Clara to churn nervously. The next day, Monica found Clara jotting down a list of what to get for Damian's birthday. Monica asked if she was removing anything, but Clara replied that she wasn't. She was adding more. Monica demanded to see it, causing Clara to laugh. She confessed that she doesn't need all of that for his birthday, calling Clara a confused mom who uses her son to extort money just because the father is rich. Monica stated that isn't love, and if Clara claims to love him, she would have left him with them in the village. Clara raged, churning her, and turned the discussion to school fees and upkeep money that she has enjoyed from her, all funded by the extorted money, leaving Monica speechless as she walked away. The next day, Monica lied to Damian, telling him she would like him to meet her friend Vanessa, who has been longing to see him. They stood on the road waiting for her, and when Vanessa finally arrived, she alighted and gave Damian a hug, amazed at how much he has grown since the last time she saw him when he was just 4 months old. Monica, not wanting to get caught, suggested they enter the car to go to another place for a better chat. Damian arrived home and shared his experience with his mother about meeting Monica's friend Aunt V, prompting Clara to confront Monica about where she took her son. Monica repeated that she took him to see her friend Vanessa, causing Clara to fall silent. Clara asked Monica to help plan a small party for Damian on his birthday, and Monica mocked her, saying the list she had written was enough to hire an event planner. Monica advised her that her continuous extortion of money would make them tired and take Damian away from her. However, Clara confidently told her that the court wouldn't permit that. Monica reminded her of the kind of mother she had been to Damian and accused her of using him as a money-making machine. Clara retaliated, reminding Monica of what she does for her with the same money. Clara demanded that Monica organize a party for Damian with the 20,000 naira she would send to him, but Monica declined the money and insisted on using her own funds as Clara carelessly walked away. Mimi visited Clara at her office and inquired about her plans for Damian's birthday. Clara replied that she and her sister were planning to make it memorable for him. Mimi, confused, asked if her sister had been the one taking care of him. Clara lied, saying she has been taking care of her son alone, and her sister visited just because of Damian's birthday, relieving Mimi. Mimi asked about her pregnancy journey, and Clara began sharing the story of how she became fat and ate a lot, exciting Mimi as she paid attention. Harriet was surprised to see Mimi eating something different when she cooked and asked why. Mimi responded that was what she craved, shocking Harriet. She asked if Mimi was pregnant, and although Mimi claimed she doesn't know yet and is scared to check at the hospital, Harriet insisted she go confirm it. The following day, Harriet arrived, and Mimi, overjoyed, couldn't wait to share the news. After some guessing games, Mimi spilled the good news that she was pregnant. Harriet didn't seem happy for her, but Mimi still expressed joy, sharing how she needs time to stock up the house with foodstuffs and get new clothes because Clara told her she ate a lot and became fat during her pregnancy, leaving Harriet speechless. Another day, Harriet asked Mimi if she had told Fred about it, but Mimi didn't see a need, as she complained he doesn't take her calls since he traveled, but is surprised to see his missed calls this morning. Harriet advised that she put a call across now, which she did, and was shocked to hear a female answering the call. She expressed her anger to Harriet that Fred has been cheating on her, which is why he doesn't take her calls. Harriet, surprised, advised her not to jump to conclusions, assuring that Fred would never cheat on her. Still, Mimi didn't take it lightly as she rained insults on him. That night, Monica and Damian had returned from their birthday party as she carried him on her back. Clara asked how it went, but Monica turned a deaf ear to her question and went to drop Damian. She returned and expressed her anger to Clara for not being present at her son's birthday, reminding her that herself and their mother raised Damian to where he is. Yet she goes about deceiving people on the internet that she loves and takes care of her son, which has never happened. She told her she would leave the following day, making Clara laugh as she knows Monica doesn't have anywhere to go. Also, she asked how she would be able to deal with Damian if she leaves, but Monica replied that she's done losing her happiness because of her. The next day, Monica dragged her luggage to leave the house, leaving Clara surprised as she asked where she was going. She replied she was going back to the village, prompting Clara to apologize for her actions and begging her to stay. Just then, Damian came down and asked where she was going, and Monica replied that no matter where she is, she would always carry him in her heart as they hugged. Damian demanded she gets him ice cream, of which she promised to, picked her bag, and left, leaving Clara helpless. Monica got to the bus stop as she called Vanessa, telling her she needs a job. On hearing that Vanessa wants to interview some girls for the sales rep position, Vanessa asked where she was so she could come pick her up and they could discuss it better. The following day, in the living room, Clara set up the cameras for her live video as she tried to get Damian set too. She told him to give a big smile once she starts recording and thank them for the gifts. Damian asked where the gifts are, but she churned and commanded him to do what he's told. As she set the camera and made the video, after the video, she instructed him to go to his room even when he requested to watch the TV, but she refused. Monica, in her room, watching the video of Clara and Damian dancing on the net, got irritated and visited Damian the next day. Damian, excited to see her, ran to hug her. Clara, seeing her, thought she had come to stay again and thanked her for coming back, but Monica told her she hasn't come to stay but to take Damian with her. She asked him to go pack his things so they could leave. Clara, feeling relieved that she wants to take her burden away, asked where she was taking him to, but Monica told her she never cares about him, so she shouldn't bother to ask. She began to speak words of wisdom to Clara. She hasn't been a good mother to her child, and she should stop using him as a means of extorting money from his father. Clara told her that Chef never told her he was married until she was pregnant, so she wanted to pay. Monica clearly told her that the handwriting was written boldly on the wall, but her appetite for money has blinded her eyes. She threatened that if she ever involves Damian in her life video again, then they will have a problem, leaving Clara speechless as she walked away. Vanessa visited Monica in her apartment and broke the sad news to her that Damian's father would be filing for custody. Monica, shocked, asked if they want her dead by taking Damian away from her. She pleaded to speak with Chief herself, but Vanessa apologized, stating she couldn't help. She told Monica that Clara threatened to kill Damian if he refused to send money to her. Monica found it hard to believe her, but Vanessa showed her the message that Clara had sent to Damian's father, leaving Monica bewildered as she read it out, and she became speechless. The following day, Clara was in the living room making her live video as usual when Monica angrily came inside and began scolding her for her attitude towards her son and his father. She warned her to stop extorting money from Chief. Unfortunately, she was still live, and her followers heard everything before she rushed to end the live video, with Monica walking away, leaving Clara disappointed at how much of her secrets had been exposed to her followers. Mimi in her home with Harriet watched the video, with Mimi in tears and regrets. Harriet reminded her of the warnings she gave her not to believe everything she sees on social media, leaving her helpless. Monica visited Clara to give her a piece of her mind. She demanded why she sent that message to Chief, and now they want to take full custody of him. Clara was surprised at how she got the information, and Monica reminded her of her past relationship in the village with Jidenna, whom she abandoned to come to the city because of her appetite for money. Now she met Chief, and she planned on getting pregnant for him to keep receiving money from him to maintain a luxurious lifestyle. Monica asked why she hated her so much, but Clara responded that she doesn't hate him. Sometimes she just wishes the child is Jidenna's, claiming she still loves him. Monica chuckled and asked if she loves him or the money he has finally made, leaving Clara speechless. Monica threatened to retaliate if anything goes wrong in Damian's life, walking away. One cool afternoon, Monica finally met with Chief, Damian's father, in his car, apologizing for the message her sister sent and begging that she never meant them. She continued pleading with him not to file for custody of his son. Chief replied that he doesn't have a problem with her, but this was the only way to be with his son, so Clara would not do something stupid. Monica persisted, pleading she would always bring him to spend the weekend with him and his other siblings. Chief then told her that he wants his son to attend the same school as his sisters, and then on Friday evenings, she would come pick him up and return by Sunday evening as well. Monica nodded in agreement, begging he doesn't continue with the filing for custody of his son, which he told her he would think about and get back to her as they bid goodbye, and she left. Mimi was at the office working when Clara entered and greeted her, but she didn't reply, focusing on her work. Clara greeted again, trying to get attention, and Mimi, upset, expressed her frustration and disappointment to her for making her believe she was an independent single mother. She felt deceived and promised never to end up like Clara, not with her unborn child. Clara was left surprised and speechless as she walked away. Clara received an envelope from the delivery man in her home and signed for it. She settled down and in tension opened the envelope, but got more panicked reading the content. She then called Chief, apologizing and pleading not to file for custody, claiming she loves her son so much. Chief, already made up his mind, told her they would see in court and called her a heartless woman as he hung up on her. That night, Clara lay in her bed filled with regrets and remorse, realizing she had been a bad mother to her son, and she thought to herself. The following day, Vanessa visited Monica in her apartment and excitedly told her the good news that her brother has agreed to what she told him. However, if it doesn't go as planned, he would continue to file for custody. Monica was overwhelmed as she expressed her joy and gratitude. Vanessa suggested she get a lawyer so they can sign an agreement, which Monica accepted and insisted on telling her sister as well. And they were on the same page. Monica visited Clara in her house, where Clara began to apologize for her wrongdoings and for being a bad mother to her child. Monica broke the news to her that she begged Chief not to file for custody of Damian, and now he has gladly accepted, and they will get a lawyer to sign the agreement. Clara, overwhelmed, felt relieved as she expressed her gratitude, promising to change and be a better mother to Damian henceforth. Mimi, who had already given birth months ago, was at the dining table with Harriet, who had been persistently asking her to call her boyfriend Fred. Mimi refused, insisting she can take care of her child herself and doesn't need any support. She suggested that Harriet call him herself if she wants to, leaving Harriet feeling weak. The next day, Mimi employed a nanny named Esther for her son, who was already 5 months old. Esther passed the interview as she also had 3 children, promising to do her job well. Mimi instructed her to take care of her son in the morning while she's at work, but will take over when she returns at night, as she had already stocked up the house with enough food items. A week later, Mimi was working on her system when Esther, about to leave, began making a requisition for the baby's milk and also mentioned that the groceries were almost out. Mimi, overwhelmed, demanded she send her a list so she can get them on her way back. That night, Mimi complained to Harriet over the phone about how her baby cries a lot when she returns home. She also mentioned that the baby's milk and groceries, which usually last for a month, are now exhausted in just a week. Harriet shared her thoughts, suggesting that maybe Mimi's son is growing and consumes more. However, not convinced, Mimi suggested setting up cameras to monitor every move in the house as they ended the call. One fateful day, Mimi arrived home and heard Esther on the phone telling someone to wait at the bus stop to take the foodstuff she would be bringing. Mimi decided to tiptoe into the house and saw some groceries packed in a nylon bag. Esther turned in shock at her presence, and she began begging, claiming it was the devil's handiwork. Mimi, furious, demanded she leave her house immediately, chasing her out, and quickly went to attend to her crying son. Life became uneasy for Mimi as she couldn't help her child and still be focused at work. She was scolded by her boss not to bring her child to work as the cries were disturbing the building, threatening that she would be fired. Prompted by this, she called her mother, pleading for help to take care of her son for the week so she could focus on work since it had been difficult for her to find a nanny after the last one. The following day, Mimi was on the phone with Harriet when she heard a knock on the door. She went to answer it and found the caretaker giving complaints from other neighbors that her baby's cries were disturbing their sleep. They threatened to leave the compound if the noise continued, surprising Mimi at their reaction. The caretaker suggested she take him to the hospital for a checkup. Maybe he is not well. However, Mimi assured him that her son is well, and he left. Mimi struggled with her son as she tried to make him stop crying, but to no avail, leaving her frustrated. Harriet was standing at the bus stop when Fred drove past and stopped, exchanging pleasantries. He asked about Mimi, as he had been unable to reach her since she relocated. Harriet, feeling bad, told him the truth that Mimi never relocated. She's still where she lives. Fred was shocked, and Harriet explained that Mimi changed after hearing another woman pick up his calls, adding that her pregnancy was another reason for her actions, leaving Fred in disbelief. Harriet arrived at Mimi's apartment, and they ran to give each other a hug. Harriet told her she came with someone, and just then, Fred entered, leaving Mimi dumbfounded, and Harriet excused them. Fred scolded her for having a son for him and not letting him know, causing Mimi to apologize that she had to cut ties with him when another woman picked up his call. Fred told her she should have tried again to get a clearer picture. Fred angrily commanded she shows him his son immediately as she walked him inside. The next day, Clara visited Mimi to apologize and make things right. Mimi, having a good heart, gave her an audience as she offered her a seat. Clara began confessing that she lied to her. She didn't come from a rich family. Her childhood was very unpleasant, prompting her to be determined to change it. She encountered Chief back in school, who took good care of her, spoiling her with gifts. She got entitled and didn't want it to end, so she broke up with her boyfriend in the village without thinking twice. Due to friends' advice during a misunderstanding with Chief, she decided to get pregnant for him to tie him down, maintaining her luxurious lifestyle and avoiding going back to poverty. In a nutshell, she only got pregnant for him because of the money, and now she's regretting every bit of it, promising to right her wrongs and become better. Mimi inquired why she lied to her instead of telling the truth, and Clara replied that she was envious of her good life, boyfriend that loves her so much, and her upbringing. This surprised Mimi, who asked about her son and his father, to which Clara responded that they were good. The two of them settled their differences as Mimi confessed to her that part of her lies were true, as her son has been the best thing in life, and they shared a life. Fred and Mimi were already in good terms as Fred carried his son, and Mimi all dressed for their outing as Harriet commended their looks and took pictures of them with her phone. Fred and Mimi's love became anew as they kissed and quickly rushed out as they were already late, and Harriet followed them behind. Thank you for joining us in this cinematic adventure titled Two Sides of Regrets by Oke Ezugwu. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel Creatority for more updates and reviews.